what I actually want to talk to you ladies about is periods. And I'm not talking about this kind of period. I'm talking about our womanly flow. So according to various charities, the number of women and girls facing period poverty has risen sharply during the coronavirus lockdown. So women are unable to afford or gain access to sanitary products, or have resorted to using items such as newspapers, toilet paper, pillowcases, socks, and even tea towels. The Chancellor confirmed in March that the government will scrap controversial tampon tax and abolish the VAT on all women's sanitary products from 2021. However, getting your period is not a choice. So should sanitary products actually be made free in the UK? And can the growing range of alternative sanitary products, from moon cups to period pants, help fight our period poverty?
Absolutely. Absolutely to all of that. Yes, is the answer. Sanitary products should 100% be free, not just for people who have periods in the UK, but for worldwide, for global, for Earth, for Mother Earth. Sanitary products should be free for everyone. When I was, I think, 11 years old, one of my male teachers at school said something to me. He said, what kind of world do we live in if we make women pay for sanitary products? And I was really a child. I'm sure he even said this to me before I'd maybe even my first period, but he said that and it really stuck with me. So when I learn about period poverty and things like that, and I hear about women having to use any materials that they can find to bleed on, it makes me sick. Like, I think that is horrific. I think that is a humanitarian issue that we need to fix. Yeah. And I'm grateful for the progress that we're making with the tampon tax, because for anyone that doesn't know, prior to this, the reason why there's a whole tampon tax issue is because the sanitary products was described as a non-essential luxury item. Because luxury items essential items do not get taxed. And something that doesn't get taxed is razors, like beard razors for men, because that is more essential than a sanitary towel, apparently, according to our VAT laws. So I find that absolutely ridiculous. I think we need to start working towards making sanitary towels accessible and free of charge for every single person who has a period.
I think for me, I don't know if I'm actually here for them being free, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Jump through this.
Yeah.
I know, right? I know. I think.
But why?
I think for me, I'm happy for sanitary towels to be charged based on, like, maybe your income. So let's say, for example, that you're someone who has a really good job or whatever, then I think maybe there should be a kind of cutoff point for people who are lower income and who can't afford them. Because I think that the amount of women that they are, like, I think it would become very expensive. And what I would think is that if they became free, would they take down the quality of the sanitary towels? Like, where's that money going to come from? Our government is stretched already. We can't get money for things. And how else are we just going to have to pay for this? So for me personally, like, if it came to it, I would be happy to pay for sanitary towels, or have to pay a little bit more if it meant that someone who was on a lower income could get them. Because I think when we think about the period towels, sanitary towels, and what we want to be, I was like, lost it there for a second. Yeah. And what we want to be available to people, I'm really thinking about the people who can't afford it. And I think it was only this year, literally, earlier this year, that I realized that people literally in the UK are not going to school because they haven't got sanitary towels. Like, I've worked overseas before and I've seen that, and I know it's a problem, but I had absolutely no clue that it was happening in the developed world, and it's unacceptable. But I'm here for it being free for people who need it the most, and if people can afford it, to take the burden that it would probably put onto government and taxpayers.
See, I think I'm going to meet you guys in the middle here. Right?
Luanda's ready to jump on me. She is ready for me.
Yeah, Luanda's bursted. So I'm giving her some time to simmer. It's okay, Luanda. Put a pot on that lid and simmer it for a moment. Put a pot on that lid, put a lid on that pot. Okay, so I meet you guys in the middle here, because what I thought is, I think it should be free. I'm just going to say that. However, I think that if you wanted a particular brand, then you can have you can go and buy, I hate to say it, but a luxury brand if you wanted to. So I think as a staple, everyone should generically have a free towel products for everyone, so everyone has access. Now, if you wanted something a bit more bougier and fancier and you could afford that, then that is what you can go and buy. I think it's the best way to kind of keep it fair, because it would be everyone gets access, but there's not as much of a burden, I guess, on society. But then at the same time, the reason why I need it to be free is because period, as I said, is not a choice. It's absolutely not a choice. It is just, personally, I feel like a lot of things that are not a choice should be free. Like, I am visually impaired, and I personally don't believe why I should pay for contact lenses and glasses, because I didn't choose to be blind. But that's neither here nor there. So my point is, it is really frustrating for me, because even though the tampon tax has come in, and that is a big win for us, the VAT has actually only gone down from 17.5% to 5%. And when I was reading it, it basically meant that we saved 7 pence on a box of 20 tampons. So over our life, we would save £40 altogether. Then I kind of sat and thought, oh yeah, lovely, I've got to live for 50 years so I can save £40. That makes do you know what I mean?
That's a lot of periods.
Exactly.
It's a lot of periods.
And I won't even be on my period the whole time of the 50 years. That would be the craziest part. So for me, it's it's not enough, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm happy for the tampon tax for it to be reduced, but it's a small win, because in reality,
it doesn't make that much difference.
The 7 pence can't even buy you something to eat. It makes no difference, really. So if we're saying, okay, we're reducing this, so for people who are on lower incomes, they're not impacted by this. Actually, the 7 pence makes no real difference to them, really. They don't have it. So we just need to make sure that everyone has fair access to it. Yeah. Especially
all right, Luanda, I'm ready. Luanda, I'm ready. I'm ready, Luanda. Come for me.
How do I swim through this? Okay, I'm done. No, Anissa, I was actually going to say something really similar to what you said, because I was going to, responding to what you said, Sophie, about what would the quality be like. I think that there should be a basic sanitary towel that everyone has access to. And then if we wanted to buy a tampon because you might be wearing a thong, or, you might be going swimming or something like that, or get the period pants or the moon cups and the organic cups and all of those things, then we can pay for them if we want them. But a basic sanitary towel should be available to everyone who has a period in every country of the world. And if we want to talk about money, 2 weeks ago or last week or whenever we talked about the royals, and we talked about how, everyone...
That 85 million!
Where are you going, Luanda?
No,
she's like, that needs to go on periods.
There we go. We have, listen, a lot of things are paid for through tax. And if we talk about including like a third of the incomes from the royals, and we said that £1.24 out of every single person in the UK's pocket goes towards that. And we talked about, hey man, I'm sure this could be used for a better cause. This is it. We can actually afford it. This is why I said I get frustrated when we have these communal issues, these things that affect a large amount of people, like 50% of the population. And then we think, do we have enough? We do. We have the money. It's not going in the right directions. So I think if we can afford to use our taxes for bus travel and things like that, like we can definitely, which is essential. And then we can afford to use it for sanitary products, which is also essential. So I think there shouldn't be anyone. I was reading these stories of people saying, oh, I was leaking because I was using tissue, and someone was using tea towels and things like that.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting that we allow women to be in that position. It's just disgusting. 100%. And to be honest, you guys have really changed my mind on this, to be honest. Like, I'm
glad.
Yeah, you have. Like, I like the idea of the basic being available to everyone, and then if you want something more. But I guess for me,
don't hesitate. What is it, Sophie?
Don't do it.
Have you guys seen basic sanitary towels? I feel like every woman should have access to Always. And I think every woman should have access. That's my thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's why
Always should be the basic.
I've seen basic ones. Like, I used to work in a hospital some years ago, and the ones that we would give out were thick enough to capture I don't even, like 10
With the
cocktails.
Thames?
They were huge. Like they're sucking up all the water in the Thames. They were thick, guys. And I feel like every woman should have access to one that is going to be upmarket and really make her feel comfortable and this and that, even especially if they can't afford them. Because I think we have this thing when people can't afford things, they should just be happy for the basic. And I don't believe that. So that's why I'm like, I'd be happy to pay so that everyone can have access to the same quality sanitary towels.
And I'm going to chime in there as well, Sophie, with you on that. I also want to say for my women in prison, that also I think they need to start getting more fairer access to sanitary products, because I was watching this prison documentary this week because, you know, I'm a big prison docu person, and the women in the prison, basically this was 2016, so it is a long time ago, but still not a long time ago, but they were only given 2 sanitary towels a month per person. And I thought to myself, in what world does any woman exist on 2 sanitary towels for their period? It was the most shocking thing to me. And it's because this sanitary towels and feminine hygiene products are seen as like a luxury when actually is an essential. And it was actually heartbreaking to watch the women.
Where did they think it goes?
And the worst part of it all was some of them were actually not even using the sanitary products because they were using the pads to cut them open and hide drugs. It was horrible. The whole thing was horrific.
Do you know what? The thing is, we wouldn't be in this position if men had periods. We wouldn't be.
Yes.
If men had periods, you would have high quality sanitary towels blowing out of the sky. They would just be everywhere, because men don't get it. Because literally, true story, my husband will go shopping. I'm like, I don't like to go food shopping, to be honest. I find it extremely boring, but my husband loves it. So when he goes shopping, I write the list and I'm like, here's a list, babe. He's like, yeah, gonna go get it. I'm like, sanitary towels. He's like, again? I'm like,
sorry, I don't want to, Sophie. I'm so sorry. I'm actually really sorry.
I was just like, it's every month. Like, what are we missing about that, babe? It's every month. And he's just like, but they're so expensive. I'm like, yeah, because I like to have a range. Do you know what I mean? I like to have a range. And he's just kind of like, what's the difference between the purple and the pink and the literally, I'm like, FaceTime me when you get to the aisle, because you're going to pick out the wrong thing. But my point is, if men had periods, we wouldn't even be talking about this. They would just be like, of course it has to be free. I don't have a choice about it.
The woes of living in a patriarchal society.
Honestly,
I'm telling you.
And I feel like there's so many layers. Guys, I want to confess something to you. And
oh my gosh.
Yes.
I'm scared.
Confession, I want it.
I hope that I get it. I hope that I don't get in trouble because there's no evidence.
Oh my gosh.
So
oh my gosh.
Fine. But you know, okay, so when I was younger, I went through this phase of just taking things that I believed should be free. So
Luanda, that's called stealing. That's actually the definition of stealing. If you looked it up in the dictionary.
She wants to abolish the police. She wants to do things freely. She wants to do
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I need to pause and drop my camera.
That is too funny. That's because the lies and the shadiness have caught you out, Luanda. Not even the camera can stand still for the lies that were coming this way.
I'm sorry, Luanda.
Oh man.
We better see that in the episode, guys, because I want to see that camera fall down from the dishonesty that Luanda is trying to bring.
Myself. It's just crazy. My bladder is not feeling well today.
Okay, so while Luanda gets that kind of set up again, I wanted to talk about, because when we're talking about like the alternatives, like moon cups and this and that, guys, honestly, I had to go online to see how you actually use and insert a moon cup. Like,
same.
I actually had no idea. And when they said that over 200,000 tons in waste fuels is from sanitary products every year, they're like, even when we start to think about making things free, we need to start thinking about being more eco-friendly now. Because 100%. They're like, we need to start thinking about moon cups, about period pants. But
Sophie,
carry on, my love.
What was I saying?
You were talking about stealing when you used to steal sanitary towels.
Yes. Go ahead. Sorry. When you believed things that
whatever it is.
Yeah,
Whatever
so
line
things
was
that I
spinning.
believed should have been free. Sometimes it was water. But one time I actually came on my period and I was in a very male-dominated environment. So it's not like I could just, like nudge a sister and be like, do you have a pad? So I left and said that I needed to get food, went into a shop and repurposed the items for benefit of myself because I was bleeding and I needed something. And I know that it's kind of funny because you guys are all imagining me as I am now, trying to like stick it to the man and things like that. But actually, I did not have any money. I didn't have any money to buy this item, so I had to take it. If I had, £3-4, I would have just brought the whole pack. But I didn't have any money and I didn't have and I didn't have anything on me. I didn't have anyone to ask. And so I just had to take it. So I think we actually do need to think about what happens when you need something like that. And for me, I've only had, like I said, that experience, which has only been one experience in my whole life. So I'm very lucky to be mainly on the other side of things. But the reality is there are so many other people who have periods that it's not the best time for anyone every 28 days anyway. But then if you can't even contain yourself when you're leaking, I just can't imagine. Yeah, I just can't imagine what that would be like.
And I think, I'm so glad you shared that story, Luanda, because that's just the realness of it. Like every woman who's had a period has either leaked on her period or felt that she did or started her period at a time when she thought she probably wouldn't have, and then you're worried about this and that and
paranoid.
Exactly. And I don't want to, what I think we first need to do is take away the stigma from periods because there's so much shame surrounding them. I know, like, when I was younger, I had so much shame about being on my period. And I went from a predominantly black school to a predominantly white school in year 5. And, black children in general hit puberty earlier. And I hit puberty earlier. And just that feeling of, is my period going to come, and being fearful that no one else around me was going to have one, and feeling like I didn't want to have it, and what did it mean, and your body's changing. And one of the things that they're saying we need to do is take away the stigma of people making jokes about girls being on their period. They're saying the statistics are so high that girls have this as a joke. And it's like, actually, our body is making room and it's cleaning itself and it is clearing away a wall to say that there's no pregnancy this month. Like, our body is a beautiful organism that is doing things that, fair enough, we don't have really control over, but is doing amazing things to keep us running and to keep us well and safe and to keep our uterus working perfectly. And we have shame around it, and we shouldn't. We just shouldn't. We shouldn't have to feel ashamed if our period starts and there's men around to say, actually, could someone give me some money because my period? No problem, Luanda. And we don't have that. And that's one of the things that we need to do when we start talking about period poverty and making things accessible to people.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's so true.
I don't keep stuff private. Well, not that I'm going to details, but even when I'm with my male friends, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, my breasts are so sore today because my period's about to start. Like, I just keep it as normal as possible, because the reality of the situation is, at any stage of a man's life, they're going to encounter a woman in close contact, whether it's their mother, their sister, their daughter. Their periods are going to be as much part of their lives as it is part of the woman's life. So it's about normalizing it and not being this thing that we hide from men. No, because I feel like we hide it from men, like we do it in private and we don't say it around them, or we say, oh, my time of the month. Like we dress it up so that it's like hidden from them, and that adds to the shame. And we just have to say it. I mean, we don't have to go to gory details, but we can just say it as it is. I'm on my period. This is happening to me. And I think that will help to reduce some of the stigma.
I agree.
The adverts don't make it better, because you see them always adverts where like, you can climb a mountain, or I'm wearing this short white skirt and playing tennis and I can come to the world mountain. And I know they're trying to counteract the shame, but I'm like, I've never met a woman in my life who wanted to climb a mountain when she was on her period. Maybe you have, but I just find it so unrealistic.
Well, this is the thing. I think in talking about it, like, I saw an advert where I can't remember what they were selling. I think they were selling I think it was talking about an advert for women getting involved in exercise, and one woman was getting dressed in the changing rooms, and you saw the string hanging from the tampon. I was like, oh my gosh. And my husband like, what? I'm like, they just showed the tampon string. And I was just like, stuff like that needs to be on television to kind of normalize. Like, it is so normal. If you're a girl going exercise, chances are one of those times you're going to be on your period. So, and I think we need to have these conversations because now that we're talking about period poverty and things being accessible to people, we also need to start having the talk about how much waste is made from sanitary towels. Like, I had no clue. They're saying 200,000 tons of waste in waste fields every year is due to tampons. Yeah. And if we're not even going to make sanitary products free, how are we even going to get onto the topic of actually we need to be moving away from sanitary products and using moon cups and using reusable or eco-friendly or organic? Because I've had a period for the majority of my life now. And I have never used a moon cup. Guys, I had to go online to look at how to insert a moon cup because I'm like, I obviously know it goes in the uterus, but I'm inside, like, how? Yeah. Exactly. And I'm 33 and I was just kind of like, I was like, I've never seen this before. So
I want to stop waste, but I'm not going to lie, I won't be with the moon cup. I'm just not going to lie. I want to stop waste, but I'm not going to be with the moon cup.
So what would you be open to then? What would you be open to?
If they found a better way to recycle actual sanitary products, the ones that I use now,
what about period panties, Anissa?
How do period panties work? How do they work?
So basically, so first of all, I just wanted to say that the moon cup, like when it came out, it was one of the first new inventions for a woman's period in like over 50, maybe more than 50 years. So when I read that, I was like, that is crazy. And if anyone is actually thinking about sustainability, the organic cup, the moon cup, that is the direction to go in. In terms of period pants, so it's not like a swimsuit material, but it's like a cross between a swimsuit material and a normal underwear. And it's like a built-in pad in the underwear, but it's really secure. So you actually can climb a mountain and play tennis if you want, and you're not going to leak. And there's different levels that you can get if you want to get like, I want to get heavy or I want to get a light one. And actually there's been quite a few, like elderly women that have started to use it because, you get to a point sometimes in your life when you can't control your bladder. And so that's been really helpful. And there's no like smell, there's no leaking, there's no like, personally, I think my question
is, do you get more than one, I'm presuming? Because after a while, you're going to have to put on a new one, right?
That's like, the thing that I don't get. This is where I'm confused. If it goes into it, then there's no. I don't
because get graphic, obviously you're still going throughout the. Yes, this is what I'm confused.
But it doesn't press. That you're not. How does it absorb without leaving any residue? If you're a woman, you know what I'm trying to say.
No, but for me, my question. I have a second question. If you could ask both of you guys. So, say for example, you've had this underwear on for 4-6 hours. Now it feels like, how do you get this out so you can have a fresh bank again, if you will? This is the question I have.
Okay. So firstly, you wouldn't feel it at all. So if you've been wearing it for 1 hour or you've been wearing it for 4 hours, you don't feel it at all.
Okay.
And just like how you wear underwear and then you wash them and then you wear that same pair of underwear again, it's the same thing. So if you want to, every time you're on your period, wear period panties and not ever wear pads, then that's fine. Then like you asked Anissa, you're going to need to get more than one.
Okay.
But you wear it and then you rinse it out and then you do a cold wash and then you hang dry. So it is a process after you've used it, and that's why I said the organic cup is going to be the most sustainable and the most convenient thing. Once you can figure it out to get it, once you can figure out how to get it.
I know people that use the cup and they say it's actually so easy to use.
Yeah,
they haven't convinced me yet, but they're like, oh my gosh, once you do it, you won't ever go back. But I don't know.
I think I'm going to try the moon cup. I'm going to say it live on Ethnically Speaking, so you guys are going to have to hold me to it. But Sophie, I want to try and do something that's a bit more sustainable so that I'm not having to buy products all the time. And something that's eco-friendly.
Sophie, get the organic cup. It's like it's the same thing, but it's organic. You know me, I'm a hippie. Yes. And also, if you don't like it, like you can get your money back for it. So if you try after they give you like a 3-month period, and if
I really hope they don't recycle the cup.
think they can do
oh my
that.
gosh, Sophie, I don't think so. Don't finish me, please.
I don't think legally they can do that at all. I'm sure that's
I would pass out.
That is so funny. That is so funny.
I would just actually pass out. Well.
So clearly, I think that we've already established here is that periods are definitely not a choice. So therefore, they shouldn't be treated like a choice, and we shouldn't be classed as luxury, non-essential items, and more as essentials. This is what we need for our everyday life. So our periods are not a choice.